For 3 years, I believed I had found my forever person. Her name was Claire, warm smile, sharp wit, and eyes that seemed to see straight through me. We met at a friend's engagement party. She spilled red wine on my white shirt, apologized with the kind of laughter that melts tension, and by the end of the night, I was hooked. She moved into my place after a year, and soon we shared more than rent. We shared routines, dreams, and a ginger tabby cat named Oliver. I'm not the jealous type. Never have been. I don't check phones or read through messages. Trust, for me, wasn't earned, it was default. Big mistake. The first signs were subtle. She began mentioning a colleague from work, Leo. At first, it was harmless. Leo brought bagels for everyone this morning. Can you believe that? Leo says I should ask for that promotion. Leo thinks my new haircut makes me look confident. Okay, Leo. Cool. Then came the late nights. We're behind on a project. Client meeting ran long. Quick drinks with the team. I nodded, gave her a kiss goodnight when she crept in at 1 a.m., and told myself that work can be intense sometimes. But doubts don't stay silent forever. The night everything started to shift, Claire walked in at 2 a.m. from a strategy dinner, wearing a black satin dress, inside out. The seams were exposed, the tag sticking out right under her collarbone. "This is how it's designed," she said, dead serious. I didn't argue. I just nodded. But in that moment, something cracked, quietly, but irreversibly. I went to bed next to her that night wondering for the first time, who exactly is sleeping beside me? The next morning, Claire acted like nothing had happened. She made coffee, kissed me on the cheek, and left for work wearing that same black dress, this time worn properly. No comment, no explanation. Just the faint scent of a man's cologne on the collar that wasn't mine. I stared at Oliver, who was lounging in a sunbeam like life was perfect. Maybe for him, it was. For me, the weight in my chest hadn't lifted since the night before. Still, I tried to shake it off. Everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, right? But the little things started adding up. Claire's phone, once casually left on the counter, was now always face down. Her laughter during late-night texts was quieter, shorter, like she didn't want me to hear. And when I asked about her day, the stories felt curated, controlled, as if she were editing out something I wasn't supposed to know. I kept telling myself not to overthink it, that I was being paranoid, that maybe I was just tired. But the mind is funny. It notices things long before the heart is ready to admit them. Then one evening, I came home early with a nasty case of food poisoning. I collapsed on the couch, weak and dizzy, barely managing to kick off my shoes. That's when I saw it. Claire had left her tablet unlocked on the coffee table, open to her messenger app. A message had just come in, bold and glowing at the top of the screen. "Last night was perfect. You looked amazing." From Leo. I stared at it. My stomach turned, and not just from the tacos. My fingers hovered. I didn't want to look, but I did. The messages went back months. Photos, complaints, plans. And the worst part? She'd been mocking me, calling me safe, saying I was boring, that I didn't see her anymore. This, after everything I'd done to build a life with her. This, after therapy sessions I agreed to for her. This, after changing my schedule to drive her to work when her car broke down for the third time. I dropped the tablet. Claire wasn't home yet. But when she walked through that door, I knew there'd be no pretending anymore. Claire walked in around 6:45 p.m., like clockwork. No marketing emergency. No after-hours drinks. Just a casual, "Hey babe," as she dropped her keys in the bowl by the door and kicked off her heels. I was still sitting on the couch, blanket over my lap, tablet exactly where I left it. She didn't notice right away. She was scrolling through her phone, humming something from the radio. Then she looked up. "We need to talk," I said. She froze, then slowly sat on the opposite end of the couch. "Okay," she replied, casual, cautious. I saw the messages. The humming stopped. The phone in her hand stilled. "With Leo," I added. Her eyes lifted to meet mine, calm, unreadable. And then she gave me an expression I'll never forget. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't fear. It was annoyance. "You went through my tablet?" It was open. The message popped up. What was I supposed to do? Pretend I didn't see it? That's still an invasion of privacy. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. You're cheating on me, Claire. You're sleeping with your coworker. And I'm the bad guy because I found out. She stood up, grabbing her purse like she was heading out for coffee. I need some air. No, I said, standing too. We're doing this now. She stopped, turned. You want the truth? Fine. Yes. I've been seeing Leo. I didn't speak. I couldn't. You know why? She snapped. Because he sees me. He listens. He doesn't just exist around me like you do. Exist around you? My voice cracked. I rearranged my life for you. I planned our anniversaries down to the hour. I did the cooking. I cleaned. I listened to your job drama every single night. That's not existing. That's commitment. That's just logistics, Ethan. Leo makes me feel alive. She walked out without another word. 20 minutes later, she posted something on Facebook. Real love means accepting someone's flaws, not punishing them for being human. Some people just don't understand what it means to love without judgment. #healing #growth. 78 likes in the first hour. Comments from her friends. You deserve better, Queen. Men don't get it. Proud of you for walking away. I didn't comment at first, but then I did. You're right. I accept that you're not for me. Blocked. Phone. Email. Socials. Everything. Gone. But that should have been the end. It wasn't. I thought silence would be enough. I thought once I blocked Claire, she'd disappear into the digital fog, and that'd be the end of it. A clean break. No contact. Just me, my cat Oliver, and whatever came next. But chaos has a way of clawing back. It started small. A message from a Facebook profile named Ben Russell. No mutual friends, just a photo of a golden retriever and a 2-sentence message. Hey, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Claire's really hurting. Can we talk? Delete. Block. Next came Hannah Rose, supposedly a friend from her yoga class. The profile pic looked like a stock image from a granola ad. Hi. Claire asked me to check in. She's worried about Oliver. Is he okay? Oliver, of course, was curled on my lap, purring like a chainsaw. Block. Then came the fake landlord email. From Robert at Management Services. This is a notice regarding your apartment at 14B Parkview. Please sign the updated lease addendum by Friday. Nice try. Our real property manager, Mrs. Delaney, was in her 70s and still used sticky notes on our door like it was 1994. Plus, Robert's email signature was copied straight from Google. No logo. No footer. Nothing legal. I could have laughed. But I didn't. Because the next day, she showed up at my office. Breezed right past the front desk like she belonged there and walked straight into my workspace like this was still her life. We need to discuss the apartment, she said, arms crossed. Voice calm like we were roommates figuring out laundry duty. I didn't even look up. Everything goes through lawyers now. Lawyers? She scoffed. It's just a breakup, Ethan. You're being ridiculous. You're on the lease. I'm on the lease. You can buy me out, or I can buy you out. Your choice. She walked over and actually sat on my desk, right on top of my keyboard like she owned the space. Baby, come on. This isn't us. Leo doesn't mean anything. You and me? We can fix this. Please get off my desk, I said quietly. She didn't move. You're so cold. No wonder I needed warmth somewhere else. My coworker Matt peeked in. Everything okay? Perfect, Claire said sweetly, hopping down. Just leaving. She reached the door, turned, and smiled. You'll regret this. I promise. Narrator voice. I didn't. But she was right about one thing. It was only going to get worse. The next morning, my phone lit up like a wildfire. Notifications poured in. Comments, tags, likes. Messages from people I hadn't heard from in months. At first, I didn't understand. Then Matt from work texted. Dude, check Facebook. Claire just went nuclear. Since I blocked her, I couldn't see the post directly, but mutual friends could. One of them sent me a screenshot. Some of you have been asking why Ethan and I broke up. I didn't want to share this publicly, but since he's spreading lies, I need to defend myself. He was emotionally abusive, controlling, and constantly made me feel small. I finally found the courage to leave. Please don't believe his version of the story. Survivors deserve to be heard. Broken Heart #Truth Matters #Abuse Survivor #Healing Journey. The comments were a disaster. Proud of you for speaking out. You're so brave. I always knew there was something off about him. Even her mother chimed in. No woman should feel unsafe in her own home. I didn't know whether to laugh or vomit. Suddenly, people I thought were my friends were liking the post. Her sister posted some vague quote about toxic men. My cousin texted me. Is any of this true? What's going on? I sat on the couch, stunned. Oliver curled beside me, flicking his tail like he could sense the tension. It's hard to describe the feeling of being digitally exiled from your own life. Everything I'd built with her was now a story she got to narrate. And in her version, I was the villain. I screenshotted everything. Then I did something petty. I changed my relationship status to single. Then I posted. Interesting how discovering someone's affair makes you the bad guy. Anyway, Oliver and I are doing great. Photo of Oliver sleeping in the sun. No caption needed. The reaction was instant. Mutual friends started picking sides. Her sister DM'd me. Wow. Real mature. My mom called. What is going on? I said nothing. I didn't defend myself. I didn't start a war. I didn't have to. Because I had the truth. And I had screenshots. But then, Leo messaged me. Not a fake account. Not a burner. His real profile. Profile pic. Him holding a fish in a tuxedo. Bro, we need to talk. Man to man. And that was the moment I realized. She wasn't done. And neither was he. I stared at Leo's message for a long time. Bro, we need to talk. Man to man. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something in me needed to know what kind of man helps destroy a relationship, then wants to have a man-to-man chat about it. So I replied, there's nothing to talk about. His reply came fast. Look, I didn't plan for any of this. What happened with Claire, it just happened. You can't control love. I took a breath, then typed. You're right. But you can control consequences. A pause. Then the typing bubble popped up and stayed for 5 whole minutes. Finally, is that a threat? No, Leo. It's a lease agreement, which you'll be dealing with soon. Claire's going to need a new roommate. I already got my own place. Congratulations. Then silence. For a moment, I thought that might be the end of it. But it never is. A few days later, I came home from work to find half the apartment gone. Not random items. The exact things I had paid for. The couch, the TV, the bookshelf, the coffee table I spent 3 hours assembling while she drank wine and mocked my IKEA survival skills. Gone. Oliver was hiding under the bed, eyes wide, for puffed. He hadn't been scared like that since we had fireworks last New Year's. On the counter, she'd left a sticky note. Took what was mine. See, the thing is, I had receipts. Literal ones. I keep them filed, organized by category. Predictable? Maybe. Prepared? Absolutely. I texted Mrs. Delaney, our property manager. Hey, just FYI, Claire removed furniture today. Any chance there's building security footage? She responded like the queen of passive-aggressive professionalism. I'll check. By the way, rent is due on the 1st, not the 2nd, like some people think. Classic Delaney. Later that night, I filed a police report. Not because I wanted her arrested, but because I needed the paper trail. The officer looked like he'd seen 100 versions of this story. So your ex took your furniture? Yes. The stuff I paid for. I have proof. And you want to press charges? I want a report on file. He sighed and typed it up. That night, Claire called me. Blocked number. I knew it was her by the heavy breathing on the other end. You called the cops on me? You stole my stuff. I took what's mine. The receipts disagree. But if you bring it back tomorrow, we can forget it happened. I already sold it. Of course she did. Then I guess I'll see you in small claims court. You're really going to sue me? Over a couch, and a TV, and a bookshelf, and my sanity. Click. 5 minutes later, another public post appeared on her profile. When toxic people can't control you, they try to control how others see you. Stay strong, survivors. 102 likes. Leo hearted it. I sat on my floor in an empty apartment with Oliver curled next to me. No couch, no table, but I still had my spine. And I wasn't done yet. I wasn't planning revenge. Honestly, I just wanted peace. A couch would have been nice, too, but at that point, I was fine eating dinner on the floor with Oliver curled beside me, sharing chicken like 2 war buddies in a bunker. Then Claire made a mistake. A week after the furniture theft, She sent me an email pretending to be a legal assistant. The email address looked official at first glance, legaldep.dms@gmail.com. It was a fake, but what she didn't realize, or forgot in her fury, was that she used her work signature at the bottom of the message. Full company branding, digital marketing solutions, address, phone number, even the confidentiality disclaimer. And just like that, I had leverage. I stared at the screen for a while, sipping cold coffee and weighing my options. Then I forwarded it to the HR department at her company. Subject line, potential misuse of company email system. Hi there. I received this message from an employee of yours. I believe someone may be impersonating legal representation using your company resources. Just thought you should be aware, for security reasons. A concerned citizen. No threats. No emotion. Just corporate professionalism. Let the system do its job. An hour later, HR responded. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We take these matters very seriously and will investigate immediately. I smiled. Not out of spite. Out of relief. Meanwhile, I'd found a new apartment, a small studio near my workplace. Nothing fancy, just a space that was mine. Mrs. Delaney even smiled when I gave her my notice. Finally, she muttered. She was always complaining about the neighbor's music, which, by the way, was never on. Classic Delaney. Moving day arrived. I hired real movers this time. No more Allen wrenches and arguments. As they were loading the truck, Claire appeared. Right on cue. You can't just leave, she said, arms folded across her chest. Watch me. The lease isn't up for 3 more months. I paid my portion of the notice directly to Mrs. Delaney. You're responsible for your half, or finding someone to take over. Your choice. I can't afford it alone. Sounds like a Leo problem. She grabbed my arm. Please, Ethan. I'm sorry, okay? I messed up, but we can fix this. I looked her in the eyes. Calm. Tired. You told people I was abusive. You stole my furniture. You impersonated a lawyer multiple times. You don't want me. You want what I gave you, stability. The movers glanced at each other, clearly uncomfortable. I gently pulled my arm away. Where's Oliver? She asked. In the car. In his carrier. And yes, I'm taking him. My name's on the adoption form and the vet records. That's not fair. I love him too. You told Facebook I abused him. Remember that. She blinked, stunned silent. I walked to my car. Claire followed. When I started the engine, she knocked on the window. She mouthed something. I couldn't tell what it was. Maybe please. Maybe payback. Either way, I drove off. Oliver didn't even meow. A week after the move, life got quiet. No more fake accounts. No knocks at my office. No emotional booby traps disguised as messages from friends. It felt surreal. Oliver adjusted fast. He claimed the one sunbeam in my new studio like it had always belonged to him. I bought a second-hand couch, ordered pizza, and finally exhaled. Then my phone rang. It was Will, an old college buddy who now worked in tech support at Digital Marketing Solutions, where Claire had been a rising star. Dude, he said, you sitting down? Is it bad? It's poetic. Apparently, HR had investigated Claire's email stunt, and what they found opened a much bigger can of worms. She and Leo had been using company email accounts and office space for personal drama, forwarding fake legal threats, airing relationship problems, flirting during business hours. But the real kicker? They were hooking up in the office conference room, multiple times, during work hours. Someone found, let's just say evidence, Will added. Cleaning crew freaked out. Within 48 hours, both Claire and Leo were escorted out by security. No warnings. No appeals. They were gone. And I felt nothing. No glee. No triumph. No, that's what you get satisfaction. Just peace. Will hesitated. She's telling people you got her fired. Of course she is. That night, another message landed in my inbox. From a brand new account. Totally _not Claire01. Bio. Just a concerned citizen who believes in justice. The message. I know what you did. You ruined my life. I lost my job. I lost my apartment. I hope you're proud of yourself. I replied. Hi, Claire. Yes, I'm quite proud. Oliver's doing great too. Please stop contacting me. I'm not Claire. Totally not. You can't prove anything. I don't need to. I just need you to leave me alone. A few minutes later, another message. Leo left me. Said I was too dramatic. Said I ruined his career. And there it was, the truth laid bare. I didn't gloat. I didn't argue. I just sent one last message. You made your choices. I made mine. Goodbye, Claire. She typed for a long time. Then, I'm keeping the security deposit. I already cleared my portion with the landlord. It's between you and her now. I hate you. I know. Blocked. Again. And just like that, the golden couple, Claire and Leo, became another corporate cautionary tale. Meanwhile, I had everything I needed. A new place, my cat, and a life without chaos. Finally, half a year passed like a deep breath I didn't know I'd been holding. Life slowed down in the best way. No drama. No messages from fake yoga friends. No unexpected office visits. Just quiet mornings, a stable routine, and Oliver snoring in his favorite patch of sunlight like he paid rent. My studio wasn't big, but it felt like mine. I bought a small bookshelf, filled it with paperbacks I'd been meaning to read. Started going to the same little cafe every Sunday, where the barista knew my order by the third visit. One day, I met someone. Her name was Nora. She worked at a bookstore downtown. We struck up a conversation over a display of dog calendars. She had a dry sense of humor, warm eyes, and didn't ask questions I wasn't ready to answer. She met Oliver by week 4. He approved immediately. I told her about Claire, eventually. The short version, the clean one. She didn't press for details. She just listened and said, "Sometimes people mistake chaos for passion. But peace? That's love that doesn't hurt." And that stayed with me. Then one afternoon, I ran into Leo. Of all places, at a corner coffee shop, hair disheveled, dressed like he hadn't slept in days. He looked drained, not just tired, but soul exhausted. He saw me, paused, then walked over. "Ethan," he said, I owe you an apology." "You really don't." "No, I do. What I did was wrong." "And Claire, man, you dodged a bullet." I didn't say anything. She's not well. After we got fired, she crashed at my place. 2 weeks. Longest 2 weeks of my life. She kept making fake profiles, tried stalking some guy before you. Michael or Marcus, I don't know. He shook his head. She even tried to get me to help her break into your apartment. Said you had stuff of hers. That's when she keyed my car. For a second, I almost felt bad for him. Almost. He looked up at me. "Anyway, I just wanted to say sorry. For everything." "Appreciate it," I said. He turned to leave, then added, "She's working at that yoga place on 5th now. Just so you know, in case you want to avoid it." "I don't do yoga," I replied with a small smile. "But thanks." He nodded and walked off. I stood there for a minute, then pulled out my phone. A new message had come in. From Nora. "Movie night tonight. I'll bring wine. You bring Oliver." I smiled. 6 months ago, I lost a relationship. Now I had something better. Myself. It's strange how quiet happiness feels after chaos. There's no fanfare, no dramatic music, no big moment of victory. Just sunlight through clean windows, a cat curled up beside you, and the soft hum of a life that finally makes sense. Claire still exists somewhere out there. Every few weeks, I get a random message from an account with a familiar tone. Too many ellipses, the word "actually" in every third sentence, and a question mark with a space before it. She tries to hide behind names like Michael from State Farm or Jennifer from college. We didn't go to the same college, but it's always her. Each time I block. Each time I move on. Sometimes I reread the old screenshots, not out of bitterness, but to remind myself of what I tolerated, of how far I've come, of what love is not. Nora has become a quiet, steady part of my life. She brings peace, not adrenaline. We read together. We burn pancakes on Sunday mornings. Oliver adores her, which, in his world, is the highest form of endorsement. One night, while Nora was watching a documentary and I was folding laundry, she looked over and said, "Do you ever miss her?" I thought about it. Not about Claire. About the idea of her, who I thought she was. "No," I said. "Not anymore." But I learned something important. She raised an eyebrow. "Yeah. There's a big difference between flaws and choices. Flaws are harmless things. Forgetting to turn the lights off. Leaving dishes in the sink. Being late to dinner now and then. Choices are different. Choices are sleeping with your coworker, lying about it, then pretending you're the victim. Claire had flaws, sure. We all do. But what ruined us weren't her flaws. It was her choices. And now, I choose better. I choose truth over illusion, peace over passion, steady love over chaos. I choose me. Oliver stretched, jumped onto my lap, and purred like an old engine warming up. Nora smiled at us from the couch. Life isn't perfect, but it's real, and that's enough. Enjoyed the story? Give it a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. More powerful stories are just around the corner.